The maritime industry, if well harnessed, is the most lucrative and capital creative industry in the world. The sector sure makes unique contribution to the economic development of a nation. The maritime industry should not be limited to ship carrying cargo. Other ancillary businesses, including registration of ships, supply of seagoing manpower, and ship recycling, can be embraced, taking a clue from the world-leading ship recycling countries like India, Bangladesh, China, and Pakistan. Welcome, I'm glad to have you join us on today's edition of Maritime Update, where we bring to you every week activities in the maritime industry. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Nature has bestowed on Nigeria vast resources of a long coastline and long inland waterways, which makes us a maritime nation. But we must go beyond this to take measures to build and consolidate on nature's gift by putting vessels on them, most importantly, Nigerian flagged vessels, to ensure deep ocean-going international trade. Therefore, measures must be taken to develop critical sectors of the economy, particularly agriculture, and the optimal exploitation of the vast deposits of our solid mineral and non-oil resources to generate enough cargo that can challenge the present high volume of import cargo throughput, which will change the image of the chronic import-dependent nation to embrace export. We must also revamp our utilities to ensure stable light so that we can be classified among the world's leading maritime nations. There must be improvement in security of persons. Goods and services must be guaranteed to achieve the 48 hours cargo evacuation target set by the government. And of course, we must make concerted effort to kill corruption before corruption kills our dear maritime industry. In this episode, we will be focusing on efficiency, transparency, competitiveness, revenue generation, which are the key areas the Nigerian Customs Service takes seriously. First, let's look at the issues and developments that made news in the maritime industry. Please stay with us. On the Apapa Gridlock ultimatum, the Federal Road Safety Corps says it's making progress to ensure sustainability. ECOWAS says the African Continental Free Trade Area entry will remove trade barriers and offer new economic opportunities. Welcome to Maritime News, and now to the main stories. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has said that the new task team to clear Apapa Gridlock were making progress, as measures were also being put in place to ensure sustainability in accordance with the recent ultimatum by President Muhammadu Buhari. The team commenced Operation Totality Enforcement to ensure timely implementation of the President's directive that trucks parking on Apapa roads should vacate in 72 hours. The President noted that the vacation would help in clearing the gridlock in Apapa and its environs and help in restoring law and order in the area. The Lagos State Sector Commander FRSC Hygienist Omeje said tremendous progress has been made in clearing the Apapa traffic constituted by the tankers and other articulated vehicles. This move, he noted, started by a stakeholders meeting with Nigerian Port Authority NPA, Nigerian Shippers Council NSC, and transport unions. Omeje added that 52 parks have been identified where these trucks are to be parked before going to the port, with the assistance of the manual call-up system introduced by the NPA. Vehicles carrying exports have access to the port directly because of the perishable goods they carry, as he promised that by Friday, everywhere will be cleared of traffic caused by these articulated vehicles. ECOWAS has said that the expected entry into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, will remove barriers to trade, offer new opportunities to economic operators to build the region's common market, The Commission's President, Jean-Claude Brul, in his message to the staff members of ECOWAS institutions to commemorate the 44th anniversary of the regional bloc, said the AFCFTA is a trade agreement between 49 African Union member states with the goal of creating a single market, followed by free movement and a single currency union. This, he noted, was signed in Kigali, Rwanda on the 21st of March 2018, with ratification by 22 countries required for the agreement to enter into force and the Continental Free Trade Area to become effective. This agreement will enter into force on the 30th of May, following the ratification of Sahrawi Republic on April the 29th. The Commission's president further stated that the African Union and African Ministers of Trade will finalize work in supporting instruments to facilitate the launch of the operational phase of the AFCFTA during extraordinary summit of heads of state on July the 7th. The agreement, which seeks to create the largest trade zone in the world, increase trade among African countries by 52% and remove tariffs on 90% of goods. And that's Maritime News. Maritime Update continues shortly after this short break. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Port Support Services, otherwise called the PSSP. This is an initiative of the Nigerian Shippers Council created to serve the public better. To help you navigate the portal, first log on to the website at www.pssp.ng for every information about the PSSP, which includes information and project standards operating procedure of the partners of the PSSP and frequently asked questions or contact information with the PSSP of Nigeria Shippers Council. Members of the public will be able to make complaints using the complaint form, track the status of the complaint, make inquiries, or give us a feedback using the contact form. The following are steps to submit a complaint. Open your web browser and type www.pssp.ng, which will take you to the home page. Click on the Make a Complaint. The login page takes you to the registration portal, which is mandatory for you to submit a complaint. If it's your first time of submitting a complaint, click on either the register or the button on the registration link. To register, you will need to supply your email address, display name, and password. After completing these fields, you should click on the register button. If you have previously created an account, simply log in by supplying your email address and password. After you have successfully logged in, you should see your complaint form. The system assumes you are the main complaint. The complaint form has 5 sections with the following details: service provider details, event or service description, other details, complaint description. In other and in addition, you will find a yes and no button, and this is how it works. Using the yes or no button, indicate if you're complaining on behalf of a company. If you're complaining on behalf of someone, you will have to give us all the details by clicking on the Add Detail button, then click the Next button. From the pop-up list, select the type of company your complaint is about from the agency list and select the company from the company list.
Welcome back. If you have just joined us, this is Maritime Update reaching you courtesy of the Nigerian Shippers Council. For details, please reach the Nigerian Shippers Council on our email, website, or better still, text the number showing on your screen. Now to the guest of the week. He is Mohammed Abakura, Controller, Apapa Command of the Nigerian Customs Service, as he shares on his strategies on revenue generation, trade facilitation, and anti-smuggling operations. This and many more. Stay with us. The Nigerian Customs is saddled with enormous responsibilities. As the Controller, Apapa Command, to what extent would you say you have fared in these responsibilities, and what has been your challenges so far?
So far, so good. As you know, like you mentioned, that the service is saddled with a lot of responsibilities. Yes, that is right. Our basic responsibility is revenue generation, suppression of smuggling, facilitation of legitimate trade, implementation of fiscal government policies, assisting other sister government agencies in the performances of their roles and schedules.
Okay, I really want to know what you've done on the stakeholders, because their compliance is key to facilitate trade.
In my first maiden meeting with the senior officers of the command, I told them that I have intention of capacity building for all both officers and stakeholders. And I've gone a step further by constituting a committee of some officers that will take us through this capacity building. We are going to be training officers on all aspects of the job, their responsibilities and schedules to the service as well as the stakeholders. Then the stakeholders on their part, from time to time, will arrange on how to take them on what they're supposed to do, their responsibilities, their rights, and everything. So once we are able to go through this, we'll be able to raise the compliance level of those section of the stakeholders that their compliance level is now below average.
Okay, the command has recommended the highest volume of trade revenue collection. What are the strategies you have put in place to ensure that you keep the standard or even surpass it?
To be honest, I even surpass what I made on the ground. Yes, if you look at our revenue profile from the beginning of the year to my coming middle of March, you will see a significant improvement. If you look at the records, for the month of March, we generated 34.6 billion naira. Then in April, we generated 37.3 billion naira. So if you look at that with the corresponding period last year, you know that we've really achieved. So if you take the difference between revenue generated January to April 2018, January to April 2019, we've had a plus of 21.9 billion. That's the difference.
So what strategies did you put in place to achieve this?
The strategies
results?
Is that I'm accessible. I'm here to serve people. I attend to complaints and I solve problems promptly. Those that are within the purview of the area command is solved immediately. Those that require headquarters attention, we do same through correspondences and phone calls, and we get response. And even the stakeholders are happy. So with that, we don't experience issues of delays when everything is okay. If a declaration comes up, all procedures and processes are in the right or are done rightly, they take their consignments as at when due.
So what is the expectation now for the month of May?
We are still moving at the right direction. If we continue along this level, we may even surpass the revenue figure of April.
In May?
In May, yes.
Okay, looking at export, what has your command done in the area of exportation?
Yes, the issue of exportation, we have some challenges along the line. What are the challenges? We don't have an export examination bay. This happened with the idea of concession. An average concessionaire will prefer space in order to stack containers coming in. So with the export, since we don't have export examination bay, definitely officers have to go out to witness the stuffing of these containers outside the port. So this is a challenge. Another challenge too, even the stakeholders are complaining that if they load their trucks, getting into the port is a problem. And that problem is a general problem and is even outside the purview of Nigerian Customs Service. Everybody knows for some time now the access road to Apapa is you two have witnessed you are coming in today. But the government is doing a lot. They've done a portion of the road from Leventis down to the wharf. But the other side, coming from Mile 2 to Tinkan, is in a very terrible shape. So even consignments getting out of Tinkan, they always want to follow the Apapa route, which makes the movement to be so tedious. You see containers coming in, bringing empties or bringing in export, while imports are trying to get out of the port area.
So looking at the role of export, what will you prefer? What solution will you prefer to these challenges you've identified?
And the issue is so far so good to some extent. You know, they said experience is the best teacher. I think along the line, I think stakeholders have evolved other methods of carrying consignment out or into the port. They make use of the barges. They carry consignments through the sea to some level before they pick them in trucks. They carry some through the rail. But the percentage is still high on the roadside or using trucks out of the port.
Okay, looking at another area of smooth operations, do you think the introduction of technology in port operations will in any way ensure the desired ease of doing business?
Yes, for the customs service, this idea of ease of doing business, the customs service embraced this as far as 2006, when we started automation and full implementation of the revised Kyoto Convention, which made customs administrations to streamline, strengthen, and simplify processes and procedures. So with that, from 2006, we started with the ASCUDA project. We started automation of declarations and whatever. Then after some time, we moved to 3.0, where we brought in stakeholders, critical stakeholders like the bank, to join in on our platforms. We no longer take payments manually by bringing receipts or whatever. Once you make your payments from the bank, automatically it will hit the customs system and it will hit the CBN system. So we move again from there to NICES 1, which we brought in on stream, the NICES 2, which took effect sometime, I think around July last year. So for the Nigerian Customs Service, use of automation has really simplified ways and means of clearing consignments. It has simplified way of clearance of goods. It has made the work to be less cumbersome. Unlike before, when we used to have the long room, officers will be doing the striking, whatever in the long room. Before you finish that one, then you go to the shed. But now is entirely a different scenario completely. This idea of ease of doing business is just a complement to the Nigerian Customs Service, because we've gone far. We've integrated other critical stakeholders into our platform. Like SON, for example, Standard Organization of Nigeria, the SON cap, they issue it E. Once it's E, if an officer is working on a consignment that requires that one, will be able to see it on the system. The office of the NSA is equally integrated. If there is need for any end user certificate, if it is issued from them, we'll be able to see that. So other sister government agencies are on board. The service train them and integrate them so they can work within the comfort of their office. And if you pick a declaration, for example, on the system, any requirement that is needed, you'll be able to see it on the system without necessarily coming down with a hard copy.
So how will you now rate generally the federal government's ease of doing business? Since from your own service, you have embraced it before the federal government?
We've embraced it long before that. The only thing dragging us is for some stakeholders to get ready. Once they are ready, we integrate them after training. In fact, I recall when I was in the Power Ruling Center at the headquarters, NIGERIAN director and some staff came complaining that some people used to forge their certification. I said this thing is very easy to solve. I gave an example of how SON came on board. Now, SON is not having any issue of any fake SON cap or any certification for that matter. So any stakeholder that wants to get on board where the service is ready to provide the training and necessary assistance. But on their own part, they too have to develop their own IT so that they will be able to get integrated into the customs platform.
This is a fine place to end this beautiful interview. The Nigerian Customs Service has embraced technology, and this has helped in the ease of doing business. Those are the words of Mohammed Abakura. He is the controller at Papa Command. Many thanks for coming on Maritime.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome to our interactive segment. These are the mails we received this week. Good morning, Madam. I congratulate you for the undying awareness of the maritime update. I am Captain Tony Olubode, a regular listener of this program. Your flame will never die. Amen. Briefly, my appeal to the authority that be is to do all possible to bring back the flag of the nation to sail the seas of the world with the competent professional Nigerian mariners. Presently, there is less than 200 qualified, experienced living Nigerians for a population of about 200 million without national vessels of any foreign carriers. In a nutshell, the sale or disposal of this maritime sector is like throwing the baby and the water away. Thanks to the promoter of this program for the patriotism. God bless you all and long live Nigeria. Good day, presenter. Please, I want to find out when the railway project in the South will be ready. Thanks, from Peter T. Oliver, Delta State. Dear Norma, I am happy that President Buhari has finally given order to trailer drivers to vacate Apapa and its environs. I have lived in Apapa for over 35 years now. I will particularly thank you for always trying to ask the relevant people in your program how to solve the gridlock problems in Apapa. Now the solution has finally come. I love your program. I have been watching it for quite some time now. It is very informative. You are doing a great job. From Alhaji G.N. Sani. We are working towards bringing the relevant resource persons who will be able to answer the concerns raised in these mails. I urge you to continue watching the program. I must also say a big thank you to all of you who sent in mails this week. Your questions, comments, or contributions are appreciated. We ask that you keep them coming. To join this interactive session, send your questions, comments, complaints, or observations to maritimeupdate@yahoo.com with your name and location. We implore you to keep them simple and civil so we can read them. And that's the show this week. We hope you enjoyed it. If yes, please join us same time next week. Thank you most kindly for being a part of this week's edition. Please remember to send your comments, complaints, and observations on our email, all the numbers showing on your screen. This show promises to bring you yet another exciting package next week. For more details, you can also contact the Nigerian Shippers Council on our website or text the number on your screen. You can view this episode or any of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel, Maritime Update. When you visit, please subscribe for free and also click the notification button. A big thank you to my production crew who work behind the scene to bring us Maritime Update every week. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Until I come your way again next week, do have a fabulous weekend. Goodbye.